Welcome to the He's Got Issues Independent Comics Edition number 151.3. I'm John Cooney here to preview new independent comics being released December 10th, 2014, beginning alphabetically with Boom Studios and Bravest Warriors number 27. Defending a planet from giant monsters might be more than the Bravest Warriors can handle, even with Catbug and Possibear at their side. The team will need the help of an all-new, never-before-seen ally and even newer tech to bring the beast down in one of their most action-packed adventures yet. Next we have Deep State number 2. Harrow and Branch's investigation of the long-lost Soviet lander's crash site leads them to a small town in rural Pennsylvania. Before the mysterious force is able to take control of the townspeople and enact its full plan, the agents of control must isolate the town from the world and eliminate the menace. We've also got Empty Man number 6 of 6, final issue. Agents Langford and Jensen finally come face to face with the supernatural culprits who kidnapped the Simons children, while Sister makes the last-ditch attempt to free her brother from the clutches of the sadistic Reverend Markov. Next we have Eternal number 1 of 4. In a world of clones, the Human Liberation Army wants to free people from New Life's grasp. Their leader, Gale, will take the most drastic personal measures yet to do so. Rathman, a former homicide detective turned New Life enforcer, is on the case and is asking tough questions. Violet, a young girl and one of the few non-cloned humans, purists they're called, left, is longing to enter the real world, but she has no idea the dangers she's stepping into. We've also got Fraggle Rock Journey to the Everspring number 3 of 4. Deep in the Crystal Cave, the Fraggles find doozers. Gobo Red and the rest of the gang meet a whole new, never-before-seen colony of doozers with a bit more artistic flair than they're used to. But will they be able to help the Fraggles get water back to Fraggle Rock? Next we have George Perez's Sirens number 2. Under attack by their greatest foe, Nadia, the Sirens put together a last-ditch plan to keep their team and their ship together. With their memories of each other and themselves still hazy, the Sirens must relearn how to work together before Nadia destroys them all. We've also got Hexed number 5. The start of a brand new arc, a perfect jumping on point. The chaos at the Gala may be over, but a whole new set of problems emerge for Lucifer as she attempts to recover the stolen artifacts from Val's demolished gallery and enters into a magical arms race with Madame Cymbeline that's nigh unwinnable. Next we have Regular Show number 18. When Rigby wins free amusement park tickets from the local radio station, it's time for the boys to head into the city and ride the scariest coaster of all time. But this isn't a normal theme park, and the day turns out anything but amusing. We've also got Suicide Risk number 20. The Men of Gold, the alternate Earth police corps that sentenced Requiem to life sentence in the fault line for his crimes against humanity, have decided enough is enough. If Requiem refuses to submit to their authority and accept his punishment as his due, they'll do anything to ensure that justice is served, even if they have to destroy Earth to serve it. Next we have Teen Dog number 4 of 8. This spring break issue will be a total ball. Teen Doug and Mary are gonna kick it at the mall. Thug Pug and TD might have a close call. Mary lands a kickflip over a bathroom stall. The arcade, the sun, this vacation's got it all. This issue is pretty much the raddest, y'all. We've also got Thomas Alsop number 7 of 8. It seems as if all of New York is out to get Thomas. The city folk are not taking the news of the 3000 well, and the O are coming to literally murder him. But Thomas has more than a few tricks up his sleeve. He just needs to escape long enough to perform a mass exorcism in the heart of New York City. No big deal, right? Right? And we've got Wild's End number 4 of 6. The group is surrounded and still far away from their hometown of Crowchurch. Could Clive, Susan, and the others be the only survivors of this threat, or are there other villagers still safe from the aliens' destruction that might be able to provide them much-needed safety? From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Abe Sapien number 18. Having joined a Santa Muerta cult, Abe settles into a small Gulf town with hidden ties to the zombie massacre he failed to stop in Arizona. With more lives depending on him than ever, will he fail again? The first 5-part arc starts here. Next we've got the Goon Occasion of Revenge number 4 of 4. Things will never be the same again. That's the overly dramatic crap publishers put in solicitation copy to get you to buy their books. The books that tell the same story over and over again. Nothing really changes. There's no impact. I'm not going to tell you anything that happens in this issue of Occasion of Revenge, because to tell you anything would be to tell you too much. Other than the Goon will never be the same again. Unlike some, I mean it. Eric Powell. We've also got Itty Bitty Comics, The Mask number 2. When Herman brings the mask to his zookeeping job, he never expects the animals to be curious about it too. Now strange things are happening at the zoo. Is that an elephant dancing the mambo? What's up with the well-dressed giraffe? Find out when animals unleash their wild side. Next, we have Prometheus Fire and Stone number 404. Casualties rise as the Prometheus recovery teams find themselves trapped between an unrelenting alien horde, a ruthless engineer, and a vengeful victim of the mysterious accelerant. And we've got X number 20. The skin traders and their psycho leader, Dr. Hyde, have tracked X to a besieged Arcadia hospital. Horrifically injured, X will have to use every dirty trick in his playbook to barbecue Pigman and his snorting henchmen. Swerzinski and Naguin serve up wall-to-wall action. From Dynamite Entertainment, we've got Alice Cooper number 4. Alice Cooper has broken free from his bondage and worked hard to reconsolidate his power. But when the nightmares in his realm begin following a new lord who walks among them, can an old rock and roller survive? Over-the-top shock and worst nightmares collide in the penultimate chapter of our first arc. Next, we have Ex-Con number 4. When you're sitting next to a blonde lady killer and you've got a dead body in the trunk and you're violating your parole big time, there's only one way to go, hombre. South of the border. But you can't sit in a cheap Mexican resort slamming tequila and watching Chinese tourists square dance all night long. You've got to deliver that body to the one shady man who can hide it forever. Problem is, it looks like the garbage man is sizing you up for a grave of your own. If you thought Cody Pomeroy tripped into his own personal hell in the first 3 issues of Ex-Con, you're not going to believe where he ends up next. We've also got Flash Gordon number 7. We can't tell you what happens in this issue. Sorry, we'll say that Jeff Parker wrote it, Evan Shaner drew it, Jordi Belair colored it, and Flash Gordon is involved. But trust us, you don't want us to spoil what happens. Note, it's 95 trillion pounds of awesome in a 10-pound space bag. Next, we have John Carter, Warlord of Mars number 2. Alien invaders are on the verge of conquering all Barsoom. Only one man stands between them and the planet's annihilation, John Carter, Warlord of Mars. But John is marooned deep in the Martian wastes, confronted by a savage white ape. Even if he survives, how will he return to the side of his beloved Deja Thoris in time to save his adopted world? Ron Mars finally tackles the series he's always wanted to write, teaming with rising artistic star Abhishek Malsuni for the best Barsoom ever. We've also got Lady Demon number 1. On the run from Lucifer's hit squad, Lady Demon rides a newly arrived soul back to Earth. Little does she know the soul is attached to a woman in the middle of a dark conspiracy. That suits Lady Demon just fine because it means she gets to kill a whole lot of people. Next we have Mercy Thompson number 3 of 6. Continuing the all-new Mercy Thompson comic book adventures by New York Times bestselling author Patricia Biggs set in official continuity. While Mercy establishes a fake connection to the unearthed child's bodies, her stepdaughter Jessie continues to suffer at the hands of the local school bullies. Then new student Jill starts taking an unhealthy interest in the bullies. But why? And we've got Solar Man of the Atom number 8. The female Solar has done her best to atone for her dad's interstellar sins, but she can't stop that evil that's coming to Earth. It's an absolute disaster of a homecoming from Frank J. Barbieri and Jonathan Lau. From IDW Publishing, we've got Seventh Sword number 6. When the Seventh Sword finds its way back to Cray, it seems as though a choice has been made for him. But Cray knows that ultimately, as a Kenji, there was only ever one choice, even in the face of hopeless odds. Next, we've got Angry Birds Holiday Special. When Terrence, the largest of the Angry Birds, is put in charge of the North Pole, all his dreams come true. But being in charge of delivering packages to every good little girl and boy in the world turns out to be a more difficult job than even he could have imagined, and his dreams quickly turn to nightmares. Will the rest of the Angry Birds be able to come in time to save the day? And where's Santa Claus anyway? Find out in this oversized holiday special. We've also got Angry Birds Transformers number 204. With the fate of Piggy Island hanging in the balance, will this be the age of extinction? Continuing the craziest crossover this side of Cybertron. Next we have Dead Squad number 3. The Dead Squad has 13 hours to live and only one hope. Vargas, a sultry ex-operative nursing both professional and personal grudges against Blake. We've also got Dungeons & Dragons Legends of Baldur's Gate number 3, a knockdown brawl at a noble party, a frantic chase along the rooftops, kidnapping, extortion, and monsters aplenty. Yup, just another day at Baldur's Gate. Next we have Haunted Horror number 14, a very special issue of Spooktacular Tales handpicked by heinous horror host Mr. Carswell, infamous for his spine-tingling web collection of pre-code horror, thehorrorsofitall.blogspot.com. Zombies, ghosts, man-eaters, and more gore than your mangled little mops can ever hope to handle await. You'll lose your head over the Shelley Moldoff cover. You'll scream with delight over the banned comics Death Revenge, Horror of the Cannibal's Dinner, The Murderous Mimics, Headless Horror, I Walked at Midnight, The Devil from the Deep, and too much more. We've also got Little Nemo return to Slumberland number 3. After the startling events of the previous issue, Nemo is quite surprised to find himself in Slumberland once again, but not altogether unhappy. While the princess, Bonbon, and Candy Kid sleep, Flip takes Nemo on a garden tour until they encounter the wondrous tessellated tower, the most remarkable thing Nemo has ever seen. Meanwhile, the princess awakens to discover that Nemo has run off, and with the horrid Flip of all people. Next, we have Maxx Maxximized number 14. Max finds himself plunged into a maze of quilts, lawn chairs, and toy animals, leading to a large horse version of Max, not to be confused with Max's rabbit version. Max is pulled along into Sarah's childhood when a mysterious stranger discovers Sarah and Max in bed together. We've also got My Little Pony Friends Forever number 12. Pinkie Pie meets her match in the form of a delicious, irresistible snacks called Phenomenons. With Pinkie helpless to resist the tasty treats, she enlists help from her friend Twilight. Will Twilight be able to help her friend, or will she succumb to her sweet tooth as well? Next, we have October Faction number 3. In the wake of Dolores Allen's attack, the family is on high alert. It becomes clear that someone is stalking Frederick and possibly out to kill the whole family. Meanwhile, the kids think they've come up with the perfect plan to get Dad back into the monster hunting biz. We've also got Popeye Classics number 29. Hey, you swab, you'll think Popeye meets haunted horror in this lead-off ghost story. Thimble Theater presents Popeye and the Gang in Spookers. The second comic features everybody's favorite boy kid in a rousing tale, Popeye and Sweet Pea in kid raising. Next, we have Rogue Trooper Classics number 8 of 8. The adventures of the only surviving genetic infantrymen continue. In this issue, the epic All Hell on Dixie Front reaches its conclusion, and then Rogue goes on an assassination run in this final issue. We've also got Samurai Jack number 15. Jack faces Aku in one-on-one combat, and both are determined to make it their final battle. Past and present collide in this epic conclusion to the quest for the Broken Blade storyline. Don't miss it. Next, we have Skylanders number 3, now an ongoing series. Skylanders Academy welcomes its entire class of new recruits, but all the recruits might not be what they seem, and it will take the help of Flynn, Tessa, and even some of the new recruits themselves to try to expose the secret that could mean ultimate doom. We've also got Star Trek New Visions Volume 4, Made Out of Mud. John Byrne continues his new Star Trek photo novel adventures with Made Out of Mud. Harry Mudd has gotten under Jim Kirk's skin before, but never quite like this. Alien artifacts, Klingons, and a madman's schemes add up to headaches for the captain and his crew. All that plus tribbles. Next, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 41. Attack on Technodrome begins. Time is short as Krang accelerates his plan to terraform the Earth. We've also got Transformers number 36, Days of Deception. All-out war erupts on the streets of Tokyo when Prowl finally gets his hand on one human he wants to get revenge on. Next, we have V-Wars number 8. They saw that when you fight monsters, you sometimes become a monster. In the bloody conclusion of the Vampire Super Soldier arc, Joe Ledger, Luther Swan, and Big Dog are trapped in a secret underground called the Abyss. If they fall, the world of man will drown in an ocean of blood. And we've got Winterworld number 5, great jumping on point. Scully, Win, and Rah-Rah are on foot without food or shelter in a brutal world where death stalks their every step. Their vehicle has been stolen by a mystery woman, and killing cold, starvation, giant predators, and a mountain range won't stop them from getting it back. A new arc begins with the rich illustrative work of Thomas Gorello. Bring your woolies, it's gonna be a long, cold winter. From Image Comics, we've got Bitch Planet number 1. 2014 Best Writer Eisner Award nominee Kelly Sue DeConnick and Valentine D. Landro team up for the very third time to bring you the premiere issue of Bitch Planet, their highly anticipated woman in prison sci-fi exploration riff. Think Margaret Atwood meets Inglourious Bastards. Next, we have Copperhead number 4. Sheriff Clara Bronson sets a trap while Deputy Boo chases down a lead, both figuratively and literally. We've also got East of West, The World number 1, one-shot. The World, a standalone, all-encompassing look at the wider world of East of West. Part Atlas, part encyclopedia, part timeline, and part apocrypha. East of West, The World is a must-have one-shot companion to the spellbinding series. Note, East of West, The World will contain pivotal plot and character info that will not be in the regular series, so don't miss out. The apocalypse is illuminated in East of West, The World. Next, we have The Fuse number 8. Gridlock Part 2. Turns out the Gridlocker's death was no accident, and Clem, for one, is shocked, I tell you, to discover that this is a murder case, but it won't stop her going over the wall or even down into Smacktown to find the killer. We've also got Howtoon's Reignition number 5. The battle for the future begins now. As Tuck and Celine rally their desperate factions of the energy apocalypse against Dino E's onslaught, they learn how the present can be saved from itself, and so can you. Next, we've got Magdalena 7th Sacrament number 1 one-shot. Talent Hunt winning writer Teenie Howard and artist Aline Arosyan challenge the legend of the Spear of Destiny as sins of omission come to light in this one-shot special. Detective Sarah Pizzini reveals a lost manuscript that speaks of a bright young martyr and the dark acts she eclipses in this tale of an all-new Magdalena. We've also got Peter Panzerfaust number 22, On Till Morning, Part 2. The screws tighten as the iron grip of the Third Reich crushes the rebellion all over France. With their contacts drying up, Peter and the Lost Boys find themselves alone against the forces of Hook and are driven to desperate action. Next, we have Punks the Comic number 3, the true story of 4 strangers picked to live in a house, work together, and have their lives taped to find out what happens when people stop being polite and start punching each other in the junk. From Eisner and Harvey nominees Joshua Hale-Fialkov and Cody Chamberlain. We've also got Savage Dragon number 200. Savage Dragon is out of prison and the vicious circle is gunning for him. Malcolm Dragon and his stepsister Angel join forces to keep their father alive against an all-out assault in this movie-length epic. Backup stories include an Angel and Mr. Glum story drawn by Batman alum Chris Burnham, Malcolm and Savage Dragon in World War II by legendary Incredible Hulk artist Herb Trimpe, Special Agent Strike Force by Nikos Kotis, Vanguard by Gary Carlson and Frank Fosco, and Malcolm Dragon by Travis Sengaus. Next, we have Sex Criminals number 9. Susie and John meet Anna, or rather meet Anna again. Or should we say, meet Miss Jasmine St. Cocaine again. Did we just put those words in that order in previews? Yes, we did. By Matt Fraction and Chani Zadarko. We've also got Shudder number 7. Indiana Jones for the 21st Century returns in an all-new story arc. Kate Christopher's finally face-to-face with the siblings she never knew about, who's dead set on destroying what little Kate has left. Family rivalry was never so cataclysmic in this globe-trotting and mind-melting second arc of the comic book Robert Kirkman describes as so completely and utterly new that it reminds you of the potential of the medium. All this plus say hello to Shudder's new letterer, the legendary John Workman, with his commemorative variant cover and a comprehensive career retrospective written by Shay Henham. Next, we have Synergy number 2. Monster hunting is tough on families, especially when it's a secret. Jess can't believe her boyfriend may be the same monster her father warned her about. Also in this issue, a backup story about monster men written and drawn by Taki Soma. Special incentive cover by superstars Michael and Laura Allred. We've also got Southern Bastards number 6. Dig further into the grim past of the biggest bastard of them all and discover how Coach Boss came to be the most feared man in all Craw County. Next, we've got Supreme Blue Rose number 5. We would like to introduce you to Dr. Colonel Rex Englewood Richards III. He likes people to call him Doc Rocket. He's from an extremely different stream of history, and he is delighted and frankly relieved to meet you. And we've got The Walking Dead number 135, Face to Face. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Valiant number 1 of 4. A battle 10 millennia in the making is about to begin. The Eternal Warrior has protected the Earth for more than 10,000 years. A master of countless weapons and long-forgotten martial arts, he's guided by the Geomancers, those who speak for the Earth. During his long watch, the Eternal Warriors failed 3 times. Each time the Geomancer was killed, and a new dark age for humanity began. Each time he was unable to stop the immortal enemy, a monstrous foe of nature, a civilization killer, a horror that appears differently each time it arrives, and whose seemingly only purpose is to bring disorder and darkness to the world. Now the time has come for the immortal enemy to return once more, but this time the Eternal Warrior will be ready. This time he has a force greater than any single warrior. This time he has The Valiant, an entirely self-contained new reader-friendly comics event spotlighting Bloodshot, Eternal Warrior, Geomancer, and a cast of heroes and villains from across the Valiant universe. The Valiant is a visionary new adventure from 3 of the greatest creative talents in comics today. Okay, so that's a look at some of the top independent publishers this week, but there's still plenty of other books out as well, so be sure to check out my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com to see both the Marvel and DC videos for this week, as well as my usual roundup of all my favorites for the week with a little more depth and insight than you get here. And if you like these videos, be sure to let me know by leaving a comment and subscribing. You can also follow He's Got Issues on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Tumblr to see everything I'm reading as I read it. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.